What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos by hitting the notification bell by the subscribe button. As well, if you'd like to donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, you can do so by hitting that like button. You know what I'm saying? Or you can go through our Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, $BJ Matthews. You know what I'm saying? To donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. We appreciate all the love, respect that y'all give us, man, and continue to follow the podcast and share with your friends. All right, let's get it popping. All right, man. Happy Sunday to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. I had another topic on my mind I really wanted to get off. I don't feel like I've done enough content on certain teams, and that's my fault, right? You know what I'm saying? Because here at the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, we try to cover all good teams. We try to cover everyone we can cover. We understand that there's people on the platform who are fans of all teams in the league, and we want to try to cover everybody's team that we can. You know, break down, whether that be the team, the players, the organization. Do I feel like we're gonna make it to the playoffs? Things of that nature. I think we try to do a good job of trying to covering not just certain teams but the entire league. And I think it's only right that we cover teams that, maybe bigger sports venues don't like to cover, like the big sports networks. But, that's not being called a real basketball fan. That's just a person that's just going with the flow and going with the train and the emotion. So I want to talk about this guy right here, um, Trae Young, man. Trae Young, man, he's a player that I enjoy really watching, and I think people have somewhat kind of forgot about Trae Young a little bit, as crazy as that sounds. Just a few years ago, a couple of seasons ago in 2021, after the Hawks beat the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 games, led by Trae Young, and then they go against the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think they get to game 6, and they lose in 6 games to the Milwaukee Bucks, who were the champions that season. That's when Trae Young, had this going out party. That's when people started saying, could Trae Young be a top 10 player in the NBA? Could Trae Young be a player that, I'm saying, the best point guard? Is he the next Steph Curry? All that stuff, that was talked about Trae Young, which is weird because when Trae first came into the league, he had troubles, man, adjusting. There were games he wasn't even scoring, like, I think, double digits. He was just, having a hard time, figuring out how to score on those defenses because of the shock of transition from Oklahoma to to the NBA was a big transition. Players are more athletic, longer. Trae only being 6 foot. I mean, they list him at 6'1". He's not 6'1". He's literally 6 feet. I've stood next to him. I've seen him in person. He is not 6'1", maybe 6 foot, right? So he's a very small guy, but he gets the job done, and he's just a fearless competitor, man. And I enjoy watching him play. I've enjoyed his growth, man, since he came to the league 5 seasons ago. So, it's just the sky's the limit for this dude, man. I truly believe that. But they ended up beating up on the Toronto Raptors last night. I've got the score, but they won by 2 points. I tuned in actually in the fourth quarter, and I just saw Trae Young, man, kind of just become ice Trae down the stretch of that game, man. You know what I'm saying? That's when he became, Trae Young, the ice Trae guy who is calm and cool and collected in the clutch, who enjoys the big moments. And I think people have somewhat kind of forgot about him, man, because last season they got eliminated, the Hawks, in the first round. And with all the stuff, surrounding Ja Morant and I'm saying, people that around his age, Luka Doncic, um, even Darius Garland to an extent, and players like that. Now you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, I think people have somewhat forgot about Trae Young a little bit. The Hawks are not really a team that's shown on national TV unless they're playing certain teams. But Trae, people kind of, question, is he even a top 5 point guard? And I definitely think he's a top 5 point guard. I think the top 5 point guards in the league are Steph, Luka, Dame, Trae, and Ja Morant. Those are the top 5 point guards, in my opinion. If you look at what Trae's already done in his career, he's already taken his team to the conference finals. And I believe Trae Young has done more with less than a lot of players. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. They just got their second star in DeJounte Murray, who's really made his first All-Star team last season. So even with that, I mean, he hasn't really had a team around him that you can say, okay, that's a team that's going to go to the finals. He's never had that. But if you look at what he's done, man, This season, he's averaging 27 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists a game. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. He's actually having a down year. He's shooting 39% from the field, which is his lowest of his career. He's usually above 40% every single season. He was at, I think, 46 last year or 45 last year, averaging 29 points and 9 assists. So he obviously got off to a slow start at the beginning of the season. But he's picked it up most definitely. He's 11th in the league in scoring and second in assists. So you can make the argument he's the best point assist player in the NBA. You can bring up guys like James Harden, Luka Doncic, who gets a lot of points with assists mixed in. So that's Trae Young for you. But the thing that makes Trae Young even more impressive is that he's only 6 feet doing this. And when I watched the games, like when I watched him down the stretch against that Toronto game, I saw a guy who has a very, very exceptional feel of the game. I see a guy that's very, very competitive, right? He is not afraid of the moment. I see a guy who's very confident. Um, he made very high IQ play down the stretch where there was an inbounds play where it was tied 122 to 122. Y'all can check this out on YouTube. And one of the guys passed the ball to DeJounte Murray. It was a full court play, and then Trae cut to the ball, and he got the ball, and he just took off when DeJounte passed it to him, and then Trae threw the alley oop for the game winner to one of the Hawks players. That's high IQ. That's reading defenses. That's having a great feel of the game, right? So he really on the offensive end doesn't really have weaknesses. He can score, he can shoot, he can get to the basket. Um, you know what I'm saying? Of course, he can pass. You know what I'm saying? He's a great playmaker. Like he pretty much don't have really no weaknesses on the offensive side. He just the only thing is he's only 6 feet. So defense can kind of, you know what I'm saying, really plan for him and try to corral him, right? Just like Miami did last season. But I think Trae's a top 5 point guard, and I still think this season he's going to remind people why he took that team to the 2021 playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals. They got a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers next week, which I will be definitely tuning in, where they face Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. I would definitely be tuning in for that game. Um, but I'm very, very, you know what I'm saying, pleased with Trae Young, man. This dude's 6 foot, 164 pounds, right? So I got a lot of respect for Trae. I'm rooting for him, and I think he's going to remind a lot of people who he really is, man. But let me hear what y'all guys say. Do you guys think Trae Young's a top 5 point guard? Do you feel like people have forgot about Trae Young? Let me hear from y'all, man. Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swimwear.